The NFC West hasn't been competitive top to bottom in years, but 2 of the last 4 Super Bowl teams out of the NFC have been from the West. Hey, how are you, folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com's Pat Kirwan. Glad to be with you, breaking down the needs of the teams here in the NFC West as we head into Saturday and Sunday's NFL Draft. And, of course, Seattle with a big decision to make at 4, and they don't pick up there very often. We'll get to that in a sec. But, Pat, I want to start with something that could change the spectrum of the draft, and that's the Cardinals, because they hold the key piece in the fact of Anquan Boldin. Sitting here on Tuesday, he has not been traded. You think he will be come draft day?
Yeah, I think he will be. I think people are starting getting closer to what the compensation package could be. I think Baltimore is the lead candidate in this. I think they understand why they need him. They got a young quarterback. They got to go get Boldin. I think Boldin will end up being Baltimore. Maybe another team, Philadelphia, but I think Baltimore. So he'll be gone. But in a lot of ways, it will not affect how the Arizona Cardinals attack this draft. I think they're looking at the bottom of the round. They're not going to move around a lot in this draft. If they get extra picks, they'll take care. They could use a defensive end, hybrid player with an outside linebacker skill set. They love playing that stuff that the Eagles play. But they'd also need to get another running back and then set Edgerrin James free. They don't have a lot of cap space right now. Edgerrin James' contract would free up the space to sign the rookies.
Who may be that running back that may be sitting there at 31 if that's where Arizona still sits?
You know, you might disagree with me because some people think he's going to go higher, but I think Beanie Wells is a guy that if no Sean Marino goes to Philadelphia, it's conceivable Beanie Wells could fall down to the bottom of the round. There's no panic button, though, in Arizona if Beanie Wells happens to be gone because they like Donald Brown, the kid out of UConn. They like him quite a bit. And I like Andre Brown, the kid out of North Carolina State. Wouldn't take him in the first round. I might switch gears and come back in the second round and do that. But there's a running back to be had.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy could be good in the second round as well if he falls that far. Let's get back up to the top of the draft. In Seattle, only once since 1998 has had a pick in the top 10, and they are sitting here at number 4. A lot of talk about quarterback here, Pat, to be the successor to Matt Hasselbeck. Is that their biggest need?
It's not their biggest need, but when you're taking a young quarterback, you're always frustrated you're not getting a now player. People don't like to invest in the future. They want someone that can line up and play. But when you look at Hasselbeck and his back and his age, and they can say all they want that he's got 4 or 5 years left in him, you have to ask yourself this question. I know Seattle's asking it. Next year or in future years, would we be in a position to get a young quarterback like this? What a great spot to go for Sanchez. They've shown a lot of interest in Mark Sanchez because he wouldn't have to play for a year or 2, which would be perfect for the long-range plan.
Well, there's one other question to that then, because if Matt Stafford is still sitting there at 4, if the Lions don't take him, there's a good chance that both Stafford and Sanchez would be there. Would they take Sanchez over Stafford?
I think they like Sanchez more, but I'm going to tell you this, and here we are today, and we're a couple days away, but I would think that both quarterbacks are going to be gone just about 4. They might have this problem solved for them because both could be gone, from what I've been hearing.
Could go wide receiver as well, even though they addressed it with T.J. Houshmandzadeh in the offseason. And then you get to number 2 as we go even higher up the draft board. The Rams are sitting there for a second straight season. Pat, last year they took Chris Long. This year they're sitting there at number 2. Do they go to the other line? Do they go the offensive line this time?
I think they're in the perfect situation. If the Detroit Lions take a tackle, they're going to get a choice to take the other tackle. I think they like, and I know they're not done yet, Eugene Monroe, Jason Smith, they're still battling in that draft room about which one they like the most. If one's left, it's a no-brainer. They could take them. But get this, I don't think they're out of the hunt for Mark Sanchez. I think they're looking at Mark Sanchez came into their building and wowed them. When they went back out and studied that kid, they fell in love with him. So Sanchez still has to be in St. Louis's mind. Another high-profile quarterback where you could play him for a year or 2. So keep the quarterbacks in mind in that division.
Also for the Rams, though, Torrey Holt no longer there, Isaac Bruce no longer there. Defense has been struggling. As you get through the rest of the draft, what else do they need?
Well, they need offensive left tackle, for sure. Orlando Pace is gone. They'll pick up another receiver, but it's not a high priority right now. I could see them taking a tight end in a middle round, and I think they're looking for a vertical threat tight end, somebody that could be displaced from the formation, force you to play a man and a half, open up the running game. Billy Devaney is not going to take any risks on people with character issues. Anyone who's got any problems off the field, they will be taking off the St. Louis board. They'll be taking just good kids the whole time.
What about San Francisco? You know Mike Singletary is going to take good kids. He wants winners, and he wants a guy that's going to be tough as well. But there's talk that they may take a quarterback sitting there at number 10.
Well, you know, only they know how much they like Sean Hill and whether they'll pass. I think they might be in a position where they're going to have to take Freeman or skip the quarterback position. They have lots of needs. I'd like to see them take somebody in the secondary. A corner would be good in my mind. They'd also, you know, they look at your pass rush skills of that defense. Now, they say they're staying in the 34 defense, but with Mike Singletary, sooner or later they're going to get to a 4-3 defense. So I'd be looking for a bigger player that could put his hand on the ground, not Manny Lawson anymore, defensive end, a true defensive end, as they start to unofficially grow into a 4-3.
Maybe a guy like Tyson Jackson? Is that a possibility?
No, Tyson Jackson is a terrific player who, by the time we finish doing these shows, he'll have moved up 3 or 4 more spots because he's gone up from the bottom of the first round to the middle of the first round to the top 10 where I had him in my mock draft last week. I'm starting to hear that he's in the top 5.
I saw a mock draft yesterday that had him going number 3 to the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see how it all plays out. For more on the NFC West or any other division, be sure to stay with CBSSports.com and stay with us until Saturday of the draft. For Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.